G'day hunters, today I'm doing a review on a new hunting knife that I bought. It's the Bark River Fox River. Now I did a fair bit of research on the internet before I bought this knife because I really wanted to get a really high quality knife because the knives I've had in the past, they haven't stayed very sharp. They only pretty much last half an animal, maybe one animal before they need really heavy sharpening again. So I was looking for something, looking to spend a bit more money, trying to find something that was a bit more high quality, doesn't need sharpening as often, and is also really easy to sharpen. Now Bark River is made in the USA, and they're handmade, semi-custom knife, or semi-handmade, I think. Uh, yeah, they're just a really high-end knife. You can't really go past them. If you do a bit of research on the internet, you'll see that yeah, they're really good quality knives. A lot of people like them. A lot of people collect them. And at first, I thought that was a bit funny collecting knives. I don't know. I didn't see the point in it really. I sort of see a knife as a tool that you need, not really as a collectible item. But after receiving this knife, I can really see the appeal in wanting to collect these knives. They're unbelievable the way that they're built. The quality is just really good quality. So you can see straight up from the leather sheath, the stitching, thick sheath, really rounded edges, beautiful rounded edges. And it's got a little firestone holder. If you're into that sort of thing, trying to light a fire with a firestone, you can just back it in there. Bark River also make a firestone that you can buy made in the same material as your handle, so it matches. If you're into that sort of thing, I didn't bother with it. Just use a lighter. Okay. So that's the knife. As you can see, it's a drop point, which is ideal for hunting. And the steel that I've chosen in this particular knife is A2. You might be able to see it written there. Now these Bark River make a few different kinds of steels, knives in a few different kinds of steels. Uh, one of them is A2 obviously, the other one is 3V, and the other common one is LMAX, which is the latest one. So A2 is a softer steel than 3V and LMAX, so it sharpens easier. So you just need to strop it a few times and it comes out as sharp as it was out of the box. 3V is more for bushcraft. If you're going to be cutting wood with it and doing sort of heftier jobs, it stays sharper for longer, but it takes a little bit longer to also get it back sharp again if it does go blunt. And LMAX is probably the hardest to get to sharpen again. I think it's not all that hard compared to some other knives, but it's the hardest of the three, and it's also the toughest steel of the three. So if you're looking at doing some pretty tough work and you don't really feel like sharpening it much, probably the LMAX or the 3V is the one to go. But A2 is the cheaper one of the three, not much cheaper by the way, especially if you're in Australia. But yeah, I bought this one because it was a bit cheaper than the other two, and I like the fact that I could sharpen it really easily because it's a softer steel. Now this knife, when you go into stores, these handles, depending on the material that the handle's made of, and because it's a custom made knife, that sometimes you find these handles to be longer or shorter, just at this point here, not anywhere else. I really wanted a shorter one because this part here is blunt, obviously. So if you want to choke the knife by putting your finger over it like that, you're not going to get cut at this point here because you can see that it's blunt, obviously. Whereas other ones that have got the longer handles, they sort of force you to bring your hand over the blade and hold it like that if you do like choking the knife when you're cutting the back straps. So just be aware of that when you're purchasing one of these. I couldn't find one with a short handle like this, so I spoke to Jason from DLT Trading, and he said that Bark River have got the actual blades in stock, and they can make a custom handle for me as long as I show them a picture of what I'm after. So I sent him a picture, and this is what I got back, which is absolutely perfect. It's exactly what I was looking for. So you can just slip your finger around that and just hold it. You can stick your finger up there and just turn it easy. It's a perfect knife. Just really comfortable, no matter how you hold it. You hold it like that. It's just comfortable in every direction. Now the handle that I picked was ebony black. I actually wanted ebony white, but they didn't have any. So I went for ebony black, which was my second favourite. It's a wood, and it's pretty dark. And I've got to tell you that I don't know how this looks on a video, but it doesn't do it justice when you actually have this knife in your hands. It's amazing. You can just tell the craftsmanship's number one. I've been told that the 3V versions have got a thicker blade, thicker rim, and therefore have got a contoured handle. So they're a bit more comfortable to hold, but I really don't know how much more comfortable they can be because, I mean, this knife is really comfortable to hold the way that it is in the A2 without the ribs. So getting it out of the box was pretty sharp, but I obviously got a bit obsessed with trying to make it sharper. I purchased a strop, which is basically just a piece of timber with a piece of leather stuck on the top and a piece of leather stuck on the bottom. And because this knife has a convex edge, it requires a strop to actually get it sharp. And the reason for that is because when the edge is convex like that, it tapers in, there's no real straight edge at the bottom here, it's curved. So previously you might have seen knives where people, they sharpen them on stones and stuff like that. And that's because they can set the angle and sharpen on that angle. But that's because they've got a straight angle. This knife doesn't have a straight angle. It's actually curved from top to bottom. So the leather on this strop actually gives it a little bit of play. So when you're pushing down onto this leather, it gives it a little bit of play to curve around the edge. I hope that makes sense. There's lots of videos on YouTube that explain how to sharpen a convex edge. Just have a look at those if you're in doubt. But that's a rundown. It's because it's curved like that, all the way down. So when you purchase a knife like this, you also should purchase a strop, or you can make one yourself. You can go down to a market and pick up a piece of leather and just get a timber block like this. It doesn't have to have a handle. It'd be good if it does. If you can make a handle like this. Just stick the piece of leather on top, stick a piece underneath, and it doesn't come white and black like this. These are the Bark River compounds, which I'll show you next. So when you purchase your knife, you can also buy the compounds. These are the Bark River compounds. So I purchased black and white because I did a little bit of research and found that a lot of people said that you can just use black, which is the coarser compound, and white is the least coarse compound. There is a green one that's in between these two, but yeah, I just went on the advice of a few people on YouTube, and they said that you can jump straight from the black to the white. I think that was a mistake personally, and I wish I'd gotten the green. I think that it's too much of a big jump between the two personally. I think the white is more of a polishing compound, and the black is quite coarse. The black's what's actually going to get your knife really sharp, because the white is just going to polish the scratches out and maybe just give it that little bit extra sharpness. But if you had the green, I think the green would just really top it off after the black. So what you do, if you don't already know, so when you first get your strop, it's actually just plain leather. It's not coloured like that. And just over the stove, you just warm this up a little bit, and then warm up your strop. And just as you're doing it, then just give it a bit of a rub, and it'll change colour, just like this. That means it's gone straight into the leather. If you warm it up, it just goes deeper into the leather rather than just sitting on the surface and becoming shiny. Just keep warming it up. Just keep heating that up as well. Not too close, don't burn it, and rub it in. I tried doing this without warming it up, and it didn't do as good of a job as this. It worked a lot better once I warmed that up. And same goes with the white. I think the white didn't spread as well as what the black did for me, but I might give that another go anyway. So that's the compounds. So in my opinion, I'd go for the black and the green, and if you're there, you may as well purchase the white as well, because you're going to pay for shipping anyway. And you know, shipping for the knife, the strop, and the three compounds is going to cost you the same, you know, as if you get the two compounds. The compounds are only about $15 each. So if you're going to go and spend $300+ on a knife like this, I don't think $15 is going to break the budget. Now to sharpen, I'll just do a real quick demo on that. This curved section should start there on the strop, not there, because as you pull back, you're actually making the point blunt. So if you start there, you avoid making that point blunt. And if you get used to making that point blunt, it's really going to become blunt very fast. Because if you sharpen like that every day and you just become used to that, yeah, it's not going to last too long. So the angle that I've got is a bit higher at the back. It's really hard to sort of get the angle right and show it on the camera, but you're basically just stropping like that. And then same on the other side. Start it with that blade straight up on the strop and just pull it back. And once you've done that, for about a good 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Initially when I bought this knife, I wasn't stropping it long enough, and I asked the guys at Park River what I was doing wrong, and they basically said just keep stropping it on the black, and it'll come sharp. They said that you can get it hair popping sharp. That's when you put a hair on it and it just cuts straight up, but I couldn't get it that sharp. But this is sharp enough definitely to shave your legs. just run it down your legs, and it just shaves the hair straight off. That's pretty much it. See if I can give you a demo of how sharp it is. It's got a bit of a catalogue here. Hopefully it's sharp at the moment. You just got a page like that. And just slice pieces off. It's sharp enough for any hunting. Now you see people on the internet doing S's. I can't seem to get it sharp enough to do any S's. Starts to rip the paper, so it's obviously not as sharp as some people get it, but for me I think it's sharp enough, to be honest with you. And the way that these knives have been described, you can take down a deer or two before this needs resharpening again. And when I say resharpening, we're talking about stropping for about a couple of minutes on each compound, and that's it. So you've got a sharp knife that's ready to go after that. So if you get it blunter than that, and the strop's not working because it's that blunt, maybe you've cut some wood with it, which you can do with that. People split wood with it. They do a lot of camping stuff with it. Then you can go to sandpaper. So you can start at 400. I've been told that starting at 400, just wet and dry sandpaper, and you just basically put it over the strop. I'm not going to show you now because then I'll have to start the whole process again, but just the same way as what I did earlier. Or you can start that way and come down, that way and come down. So you go from 400, you can go up through all the sandpapers. Higher the number, obviously the finer the sandpaper. And then you can finish off with the black and then go to the white. I think the black's 6,000 grit, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. And I think the white was 12,000. Like I said, don't quote me on it. I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah, not 100%. That's the Bark River, Fox River. Thanks, guys.